Welcome to Creative Mornings. My name is Katja. I'm the host, and I'm super happy to see you guys come here today and start Friday in an amazing way. So before I go into the introduction of the topic, I would like to just do a quick raise of hands. For whom is it the first time attending Creative Mornings today? Ooh, nice. Welcome, guys. So happy to have you here. And for all the rest, welcome back. Happy to have you here with us every month, and we're always trying to spread the community further in Munich. So if you have any friends that would be appreciating this as well, don't hesitate to tell them and invite them next time to come with you to our event. So for those who are very new, or for those who are here for a while but don't know this yet, just a quick few words about Creative Mornings. So it's actually a concept that started from the US, from New York, almost 10 years ago now. And basically the main idea is gathering the creative people around free breakfast and coffee and an inspiring talk. So we do events every month, once a month. Usually it's the last Friday in the month, but February and March are going to be a little bit earlier, so pay attention to this. And basically today is over 200 chapters around the world, so I always encourage people who are traveling or moving around, do check if there is a Creative Mornings event in the community where you're traveling to, because it's a great way to meet people. We have a lot of volunteers who are working here on a daily basis, but I will introduce the team in a second. Now I just wanted to say big thanks to Wework and to Elizabeth, whom I would kindly invite to join me here, for offering us this space here, for preparing the breakfast, coffee, and giving us this great opportunity to hang out. So I would like Elizabeth just to say a few words about Wework so that you guys get as excited as we are.
Thank you, Katja. So I will also make this very quick. I just wanted to welcome everyone in the space from the Wework side. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the community team manager here. I'm very happy to see this many faces this morning as well. For those of you who have never been into Wework before, welcome. We do provide beautiful workspaces like this one around the world with more than, I think, 500 locations at this time. It's hard to keep track because there's more coming every month. And I'm glad that we're also growing this building because there are so many people here. So by the end of this year, we will have the rest of this building. So the next Creative Mornings will have maybe more space. But yeah, that's all from me. If you have any questions about Wework, if you would like to spend a day with us, there's some free passes in the back. If you have any questions, talk to me. I'm here in the morning as well. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I would also like to give a special thanks to Spinning Wheel, to Marco, to Riva Photography for being here and documenting our talk. So basically, you can actually go and see on the Creative Mornings webpage all different talks that are happening around the world on the same topic. So in case you're really interested, for instance, in the topic of invest, do go and check out how other chapters tackled the same topic. You can get very much inspired, and it's pretty cool to see how different people around the world, different speakers appropriated themselves those ideas in a very different ways. So thank you guys, and we also have the global partners MailChimp and WordPress who are supporting us so that we can reach out to you with the new newsletters. If you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe because this is the way how we always release tickets. And WordPress as well for the hosting of our webpage. So we are giving big thanks to the global sponsors as well. Now, the team, we are basically a team of volunteers meeting on a regular basis to create all those events every month that you guys can join. And I would just like to give a special reminder to any videographer or photographer. We're always looking to strengthen up our teams and actually have a little bit more workforce there. So in case you know any videographer or photographer, or if you are a videographer or photographer yourself, do reach out. We have the badges here around, or if you have any kind of other questions, you're always welcome to approach anyone from the team. Now, one last thing before diving in the topic, we would love you guys and would be super grateful if you guys could spread the word on social networks about Creative Mornings. So if you're using Instagram, please do tag us, do hashtags. I know there is plenty, but like if you need to do something, do at Creative Mornings Munich so that we can also repost your stories. We would really like to spread the words to more people, and we highly appreciate any kind of word of mouth that you guys are helping us spread. Now, with no further ado, I would like to introduce the monthly theme and the speaker of today. So the theme is Invest. So some people could say it's not as creative and as designy, but it actually can be. And I'm super happy to introduce Güneş here, who is going to give a very inspiring talk and a very interesting approach to the topic. She's a very interesting person, always smiling and has a lot of energy, and her story is just very impressive. Sometimes when I was just reading through her bio before even getting to know her better, I was like, oh my God, like how can you do all this? So I think she's a really great speaker to tackle this topic of invest. She has so many different experiences that are going to make her talk very inspiring. So Güneş, the stage is yours. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. So hi everybody, I'm Güneş and I will talk today about investing financially and personally, and what that means really and why it is important for your life. My name is Güneş, as you know, and Güneş means sun in Turkish. That's perhaps why I'm always smiling, because it's the only thing I know. So also the moments where I'm frustrated or sad, there comes something, an impulse that says smile, and it will go away. So that helps me. These are two of our three kids, and I thought it's nice to have them because I do a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff and I learned a lot. And for me, my goal is always to fill up my life book with all the inspiring moments I can. So don't fear anything, just do it. And at the end of your life, you can look onto your life and say, that was the life I always wanted to live. So this is why I'm doing this. And today I will tell you some key lessons that I learned. And you know, there are people that go to therapy and they give a lot of money on coachings. I invest in startups and I learn a lot in that case. So I hope that I will give you some information, some inspiration for this. You can always contact me, so don't be shy. If you have any questions, just ask to get better. And if you have any questions, just ask, okay? Because I have just one perspective, perhaps I don't touch yours. And that would be hard to meet. Lesson 1. This is my father. And if he looks like this, he will tell you, get out of survival mode. Why? What I'm doing now is, after all my experience, I'm helping founders and founders in Spain to help them to create their business. And usually, when I talk to them, the first thing we're doing is, we're doing that what people love. We're going over the numbers. So what is your value? What is the value of your business, of your product, of your service? What opportunities do you have? What threats do you have? Weaknesses? But the thing is that I always see that founders don't calculate themselves into their business plans. In that case, that they need to have a free mind. So what I'm always asking people is, what do you need to have a free mind to do your work? What is the money you have to earn? And be honest to yourself. I'm consulting also people from abroad, from Senegal or something. And then I talk to them, okay, what is the money you need here in Germany to live in a really good, comfortable way? And then they say, oh yeah, I would cook every day. Can you cook? No. Do you love to cook? No. So you're going out to lunch. So calculate this inside. Okay, that makes your calculation a little bit bigger, but that's honest, because if you're going home not happy and starving because you don't eat enough and don't eat inspirational food, then you can't perform as you should do. So this is so important when I say get out of your survival mode. Dream, vision, how you want to live, and calculate it. Because if you don't know where you want to go, how much money you need, you will never achieve it. You will always be in your survival mode. The problem is that 95% of people are living in their survival mode. They are frustrated every day. They start looking for social media, seeing that everybody lives a better life than they live. They go to a job that is perhaps getting boring someday, and they're still doing it. They talk to people, about what other people did or don't do. So it's always like if you talk to people, for me the most important thing is really to understand which person could I be if I'm free in my mind of any fears that I have in life. Fear of not getting paid the rent with 3 kids in Munich. Fear of what my parents will think of me if I do this or that. Fear what my friends will say when I do this and that. So it's so important to understand that what you spend or what you, signal outside, this will come back to you. And what I don't understand is that a lot of people, when they make business modeling and business plan consulting, what they do is they first take all the energy of the founders and think about write your business plan. So write down what you do, what you want, why you do it, etc. And I always feel like, okay, your whole energy gets into this verbal business plan, and at the end, you don't have any calculation. And then if you go to the calculations, your rentability, your liquidity, your business costs, your investment costs, if you go to this part, then your energy is gone. And then you make the mistake that you start with the first year. You say, okay, if you launch today your product, what would you earn? What would it be? And then I say, you know what? The first year is always difficult because in the first year you usually never do the revenue you need. You have always at the end a minus. So start with the second year. Dream again, how do I want my business to work? So is there 5 people that are working with me? Am I in such a nice place like Wework? So where do I live? What is my daily working space and working flow that I do? So start calculating your business in the second year, because then I have to pay 5 people plus me. I have to pay a rent. I have to pay marketing, that people understand what I'm doing. I have to pay travel. I have to travel the world to fairs, to people, to business partners. Sometimes I have to represent myself in giving them food. Sometimes I have to, make cookies or something that people feel like my product is great. Perhaps I need coachings, so I need to invest in and then the team's education. So make this all. Also your business cost, what does your product, your service cost? Do you need a website? Do you need webinars, whatever? Make your business costs and then look, what is the revenue I need? What is the price that I feel that my product is worth or my service? And if this second year gets out with at least 0 or plus, then start with the first year. How do I come to this status? But this is something that I always felt like, why do we start with the first year? Because at the first year, I'm always in survival mode. I will never understand if the price of my product is okay. And if it doesn't fit in the second year, then start, and this is getting interesting, then start, where is the mistake? Are my costs too high? Is my product too underestimated? Can I change something on my product so that I get the revenue that I need? So this is something where I feel get out of survival mode means really try to dream and vision where you want to be, but not just in your brain, but also emotionally, okay? Try to do that as good as you can. Understand the difference between expense and investment. Why? A lot of people say, I can do that on my own. I can do my website on my own. Are you a developer? No. I'm a coach. But I can do that on my own. Okay, how much time do you need to do that on your own? 3 months. Okay, perhaps in 3 months you could earn so much more money with the core competency that you have. But yes, you can also get yourself in 3 months frustrating doing something that you don't want to do. So what I always say is understand what is an expense. That it means money that you give away and it's gone. It's gone. It never gives you something back. Usually it's something like consuming something, traveling to luxury perhaps, whatever. But investment means it brings you something back. And perhaps it brings you back some free time in your mind because professional developers are taking care of my website. Cool. Some coaching is taking care of my structure. Some consultant is doing something for me. A lawyer, I don't need to read, and if I read pages about law, I never get the idea. So it's always better for me, and I learned that it's better to pay a lawyer 100, 300, 500 euros, and then I get a really good information that I can rely on, than reading all the law pages and at the end not knowing if that's okay how I declare my product. So it's so important that you really understand, and this is again investing in yourself, understanding what I can do easy. What is easy for me doing it, and what is not easy, but what do I need, and how can I outsource it to someone better than me? Because you have to understand also that makes your product, your service better. If the website doesn't look like own made, it has another face to other people. So it attracts other people. So this is so important to understand this. So if I hear founders that saying, I'm doing all on my own, I always feel like, don't do that. That hurts me, really. That hurts me in my body, because I know I was that person that was doing things on her own because she can. And believe me, it ended always on the wall with many pains inside of me and others. Germany is a country where mostly people are working in employee relations. So we have enterprises, companies, and people are hired and getting some salary. The problem is that we are living in a Tayloristic world. That means you're usually in a company never do the whole process. You know that there are people that are doing before you something, and then there are people that are doing after you something, and at the end a car comes out. But you don't know your value to this car. So if this car costs a client 30,000 euros, what was my contribution? Was it 5 euro? Was it 15 euro? Was it 50? So the moment when people say, I do something on my own, I ask them, okay, what is your value? And people usually don't have really, they say, yeah, this was my last salary. Okay, again. What is the value? What are you contributing to other people? What is that? Where other people say, I will pay you for that, because this really makes a difference in my life. And the thing is that I feel, now I'm for several years entrepreneur, and I feel like you have so much stuff to do that you don't know when you're an employee, because there are companies doing that, your tax things, yeah? They are doing that for you. You are doing something at the annual tax declaration, and then usually you get money back, and that's it. But if you're an entrepreneur, then Germany don't love you. Germany tells you, you have to do this declaration on the 10th, you have to do this declaration for your employees, you have to do this and that, and at the end, if you're 2 days late, you always, and I know that, pay 30 euros being late. So just in case that you don't know, I'm financing a lot of Munich stuff now. But what I feel is, sometimes it gets frustrating, but what I know is now, through my experience as an entrepreneur, I can solve every life situation in my life on my own. This is something that I know, because I really feel the responsibility I have in my life for my life. There is no company that has to do something for me. There are no employees that have to do something for me. I understand that if I have a problem, I will solve that, because I've did that day by day. This is a really good training. And what I feel is, and this is, I guess, when we talk about burnout or depressions or something where people don't feel that they have, and now I miss the English word. In German, it's Selbstwirksamkeit. The thing that you understand, that you contributing, that you, can somebody help me? Wirkung? Effective, yeah. So, but you understand, so that I understand what can I do with all my talents and non-talents that I have to contribute something, to change something. It's also something about purpose, having a purpose in life, not just earning a salary. It's more like changing lives, changing the world. And this is something where I feel like if people change from an employee-related job to a founder's job, to an entrepreneurial job, then you should understand you have this responsibility. Yes, I have done that several weeks and months to say, oh, the government is taking too much taxes from me, and they want this from me, and nobody's paying for that. But I understood afterwards, okay, now I can solve every situation in life, because I've done the worst thing that I have to do, paying taxes. This is our smallest one. Now he's not just small anymore. This was a picture for Mommy Kreisel, but I will tell something later for this. Give up. This is something you should do. Everybody says achieve something, stuff like this. No, give up. What I mean with that is think big. Why? If you found something and it's your baby, it's like not your third baby, your fourth baby or whatever. It's your baby. Like your whole body, your whole mind is just thinking, just feeling, just living for this idea. You know it will be the great breakthrough. And then you say, oh, I need money. I need some money because I can't scale it without. Okay, and then you think, okay, how can I get money? You could get money going to a bank. I studied, I made an MBA and I studied stock markets, and my professor told me, you know, if you have a good idea, you go to a bank. If you have a bad idea, you go to the stock markets, because then people invest that they have no idea what you're doing. And this is something that is always in my mind. I feel like, okay, when the bank is approving my idea, it's a good, I don't know if it's still that case, but yeah, it was from my studies. But what I wanted to say is, getting investors, because it feels always so start-uppy and so cool. Hey, ask some investors and they will invest in you and then you're the next unicorn. Then I say always, yeah, but are you able to give some shares up from your baby? Are you personally able that if an investor comes and says, I give you 1 million, but therefore you give me 50%? Are you able to do that? Can you do that from your emotional side? So if I help people to get money because this is one of my assets, then it's always something emotional. It's like always we're thinking about, okay, this is your product, your service, this is the money you need. Okay, which possibilities do we have? Do we have some public money like European money or locally? Do we have some credit possibilities, some loan possibilities from the bank? Do we have some crowdfunding, crowd investing, family, friends? Or do we have some investment possibilities? But investment needs, you have to decide if you want to have 100% of a petrol station or 1% of Shell. And this is what I mean. If you want to grow and think big, you should be able to give something up, part of your baby. And this is something you have to be honest to yourself, because if you're not comfortable with that decision, then you will always have problems with your investors afterwards. So this is something you should really decide, take the responsibility and decide, okay, I'm okay with that. I can give half or more of my baby away. Usually, from experience, if you have like 3 or 4 investment rounds, you have just left over with 12–15% of your baby. Just that you have that in case. So you lose a lot. But perhaps it's the best way to scale it up and earn more money with that percentage than before. So this is important, 100% of one petrol station or 1% from Shell. And this is, I think, one thing that we already, that I already talked about. Investing in yourself, never stop. The moment you stop in educating yourself, the moment you go backwards. Because life is changing, it's a dynamic world, and yes, perhaps it would have been easier to live 100 years before. Because 100 years before, perhaps we didn't have so many cars, so many evolution. But the good thing is that we are just using some % of our brain. We are capable to get along with all the dynamic processes. So something like fear, we don't need fear. We can make everything, we can understand everything, and we can get along with everything. And what I always say to everybody, although you think you cannot afford it, invest in yourself. Get better in something. There are so many possibilities online right now, getting the Khan Academy or whatever, other online classes. Join them, do it, talk to people, learn from the best. What I'm usually doing is, because I'm doing a lot of stuff, I don't have so much time. And what I'm doing is I'm talking to people that are experts in their area, that I want to learn more about it. What I'm doing is I'm contacting them via LinkedIn, via telephone, via email, whatever is possible. And I'm asking them if they could join me for a Skype call for half an hour. And I'm prepared. I have my questions because I want to understand their area. And believe me, people are so willing to give you information. But if you never ask, you will never get it. So this is something where I feel learn from the best and learn it in efficiency. Learn it in a small time, because then you can understand if you need more. I know a lot of people that are saying, oh, I'm going to the university. Do that if you have the time, if you have 3 or 4 years to do that. But you can also get some, I will not say university, package of knowledge, but you can get a good sense of it in a talk with experts for a thing. So making research on who is the best to learn and contacting them, this is really a thing that I'm doing a lot to get better. And now I talked a lot about what I learned, and I learned so much more, but that you understand who am I that is talking here and telling that she learned so much. I'm somebody that is called a multi-business identity. I'm doing a lot of projects, and my coach once told me that I'm a truffle pig because I'm always going after my nose. If I sense something that is interesting, I'm doing this, and then I sense something different and I'm doing that too. But for me, the most important thing in my life is I always want to know if the theory that I have in my mind is working in real. So I love people like Richard David Precht or some authors like him because they're giving a good inspirations. But I always say this is not enough for me. I want to know if I have an idea and I really do it in real, if that is working out. Because for me, it gets interesting the moment where you go into reality, because then you have problems and challenges and you have to solve them. And that's why it's important for me. So 2012, I founded Mummy Kreiser. It was also because I saw that offline was not an option for me. That was too time consuming. And we did it, and it was quite successful. In 4 years, we had almost 1 million people German-wide. And it was very interesting. We went to USA and we prepared France, but it never came to the end because the investors had other plans. After 3 years, I went out, and what I founded was my agency. It's called Die MacGyvers. I'm Turkish. My parents are guest workers, or were guest workers, and I grew up with television. But my chance was, or my luck was, that there was not television like today. It's not unemployment television, or how I call it Hartz IV TV. No, because they were serious, like really good inspirational things like MacGyver, Knight Rider, and A-Team. So I infused it somehow that I want to change the world and to help people and support them, and doing that people, or helping people to get the best version of themselves. This is what my aim is in life. And with that, I'm solving problems, and I rethink things new. And that's where people, founders or startups, come to me and say, we have problems, and what are those problems? Always an expertise that they don't have. It could be marketing, it could be money, it could be relations, whatever, taxes. And then through my network, I help them to find their partners and to, get better and better. But what I'm also doing is, for me, perhaps you sensed it in the talk, education is absolutely important, and for me it's the key to make a difference. My mother, she came here with 16 years, and she came here from a really, really small village in Turkey because she was one of 13 siblings, and she couldn't get to school because her parents say, boys are going to school, women are staying at home. And she was always like, I want to get a better education. And then she came here with 16 years old without any knowledge on German, don't knowing where to go, where to come, and just coming with Grundig, making televisions in Nuremberg. And she always told me, Güneş, education is the key. And this is something that I feel from my childhood, that always get better through learning. Never stop learning. And that's why I engage myself in a foundation. It's called Eine Schule für alle, a school for everybody. We want something that is like Finland, like the Finland example. Because if you get in touch with the school system in Bavaria, you feel like you're in Africa somehow, because it's very conservative, it's very not on competences, it's more like just getting knowledge. And yes, we are engaging since years for that, but I think for years, but we never give up hope. This is also, I guess, an entrepreneurial thing. And what I'm also doing is I make a lot of speaks on sustainability. And what I mean is with that, not just this climate thing that we are talking about, but what I don't understand is that if you get into a system, you always sense like it's always the money you have to go to. Like when you are in a company, what do you hear in your annual talks? You always hear like, the revenue gets higher, the profit gets higher, or the cost gets lower. So this is the goal. And I feel it's a little bit boring to just grow in one direction, just on the monetary, financial side, because I feel it should be also, we're able to grow on several sides, like I can, and you will see that, I have some samples here, I can create a product that is a good product, that is in a good package, that has a good working space and good working relations. So I feel like in Germany I would say it's mehrdimensional, growing multidimensional. So I think you're able to not just grow in one perspective, but in more perspectives. And this is something where I want to motivate people to do that, because it's all inside of you. And where it's inside, you will see it now here. We have this is a project, let's first do that. Be a role model. I don't know if you know Karl Valentin and Liesel Karlstadt. They were like, I would say, something like comedians, cabaretists, whatever, that were here from Munich. They already died, but Karl Valentin is the one in the Viktualienmarkt with the longer nose. There is a statue for him. And there's a museum at Isar Tor. But Karl Valentin said a lot of good phrases. But one that I always felt like it's important is, we don't need to educate kids. They will follow us anyway. And if you just change kids through employees or friends or whatever, it's always the power of being a role model. And one of my projects that I'm supporting is the Astronautin. We need 50 million euros to send out the first German female astronaut to space, where she is doing scientific work. And this is very interesting because it's not that easy. Why? We live in a masculine world. For men, there's no thing to change because it's normal. I'm talking to Alexander and Marcus and we are deciding. And yes, there are women that are assistants. It's normal, it's okay. But the moment where you say, oh, I'm a woman, you feel like, and I have a husband who was a personal HR business something, no, partner. And he always said, you know what? Usually it's not easy for women because they don't get treated seriously. It's like, oh, you're so nice, you're so beautiful. Oh, and you have an idea, that's so cool. Yeah, hey, but I'm talking about 50 million. Can we talk about this topic, please? What that makes with Germany and with girls and women, how they change their perspective to know that they can't just be a counselor, they can't be just Helene Fischer, they could be more, something technical. So this is really something where I'm working with them very intensively, that we get the money to create a role model in this mint place. Then another thing is next entrepreneurs. Education, I said, is the key. What we're doing here is an entrepreneurship, bringing entrepreneurship to kids from 12 till 18 years old. And what we do with them is startup weekends, where we ask them at the first minute, we ask them, was kotzt euch an? What is annoying you? And then we take this problem with them, create teams. They get a mentor from a startup scene. So if anybody here is from a startup, you can just join. And then we are helping them the whole weekend through this process where they solve their problems. And at the end, they pitch it in front of some CEOs. And the good thing is when I talk to adults, I tell, yeah, we're making prototyping and design thinking and whatever, blue ocean strategy. But what we really do is we have faith into their ability to solve things. So it's very easy. We just give them the faith, the trust that they are really good in what they are and that we adults don't have anything to teach them, just to avoid those mistakes that we made before. Another thing that is really important for me is, and this is where this possible making thing is, food sharing. Why? Food sharing, perhaps who knows that? Food sharing? And perhaps you think, yeah, it's something about saving food. And it's just saving food. But it's more important if you understand that saving food, eliminating food waste is worldwide the number 3 top activity against climate crisis. But why? Because half of the food that we produce, we throw it away. Half of the food. When I go to schools, I tell the pupils, it's like, it's Mother's Day, you make 2 pictures, you give one your mother, and the other you throw it away. It's the same stuff, it's nothing different. But the problem is, it's not just about all the resources that gets into the production, in the food production, it's also the packaging, the planes that bring the bananas from somewhere else to here, that we can throw it away. And what we did was a campaign, and I will show it to you. The problem is we don't have such a good sound on it, but I hope you get it. If not, I can translate it a little bit, okay? With the microphone. We try something.
Ich glaube, es ist ein absolut sehr, sehr großes Problem.
Das ist eigentlich ein Unding.
Also es wird auch gerne oft unterschätzt.
Und es hat was mit Wertschätzung dem Essen gegenüber zu tun.
Wenn man natürlich dann das auch noch wegwirft, dann ist das ja auf so vielen Ebenen falsch letzten Endes.
Ich weiß, wie viele Lebensmittel täglich im Müll landen.
Ich denke, das ist auf jeden Fall was, worüber man mehr nachdenken sollte.
Fünf Tage, 5 Standorte, ein Foodtruck, 20 Foodsaver und palettenweise von Lebensmitteln, die wir von verschiedenen Kooperationsbetrieben bekommen haben und aus denen wir für 2.500 Menschen schmackhafte Gerichte gekocht haben.
Es freut mich nur, Ihre Gedanken zu hören, mit einer Leidenschaft dahinter zu stehen, hinter einem Projekt. Und das ringt mir wirklich großen Respekt ab. Und deswegen ist es mir eine Ehre, Foodsharing dahingehend auch zu unterstützen, Lebensmittel in Bayern zu retten.
Uns hat gereizt bei dem Projekt die Herausforderung, dass man eben auch nicht weiß, was an Lebensmitteln uns zur Verfügung gestellt wird. In eben dieser sehr, sehr kurzen Vorlaufzeit, teilweise nur 24 Stunden, sich das passende Menü zu überlegen, was eben dem ganzen Projekt auch gerecht wird.
Lebensmittelverschwendung ist, glaube ich, eher weniger geil. Daher ist das Angebot, dass wir hier jetzt gratis geiles Essen bekommen und dass das eben aus mehr oder minder geretteten Lebensmitteln ist, das finde ich, glaube ich, ganz geil.
Das ist echt super frisch und die Semmelknödel sind super. Man schmeckt die Rhabarber raus, das ist genial.
Also in Augsburg, soweit ich weiß, gibt es das noch nicht, das Foodsharing, und das wäre echt ein Grund, nach München zu ziehen.
Ich habe auf Facebook gesehen, dass ihr die Woche unterwegs seid und finde den Grund natürlich super und habe mir dann eure Seite nochmal angeguckt, wann ihr wo seid, und dann den Kollegen, die mit mir hier heute sind, den Link geschickt und gesagt, hey, lass mal da hingehen, das ist irgendwie nur 10 Minuten vom Büro entfernt, das probieren wir aus und können wir gut unterstützen.
Die Aktion ist einfach super, um auch die anderen Leute mal darauf aufmerksam zu machen, wie viel Lebensmittel letztendlich, die noch genießbar sind, im Müll landen.
Es gibt ja mittlerweile auch voll viele Apps, die das ja fördern, oder auch, also ich kenne es auch von der Uni, beim Olympiadorf, dass es die Studenten untereinander machen. Also ich finde es eine mega gute Aktion.
Jetzt seid ihr dran. Fangt heute zu Hause an. Rettet Lebensmittel und damit auch die Welt. And what I wanted to show here is, as I had the idea to doing this, renting a food truck with some people, with a chef team, and being 5 days in different locations in Munich, people told me it's not possible. People told me that. Why? Because our foundation, Foodsharing Munich, doesn't have any money. But it will cost money. Nobody would do it always on his own. And we wanted to have chefs for 7 days that can prepare and cook and do everything. And I said, I will make it possible. And at the end, I get a 100% funding of the Ministry for Agriculture. 100%, and this is usually something that they don't do. They do 70, 60, 90%, but not 100. But I mean, like, if you burn for something so much, then believe me, others will burn with you. So, and this is so important, believe, thank you, in your idea. And perhaps you think, okay, Güneş, it's you. You're another person than me. What I can tell you is, I'm not more clever than you. I'm not more talented than you. I'm not more anything than you. I am a human being that raised here with some inspirational quotes from his parents, but with all the system that we get through, all of us, like kids care, school, work. I was also an employee before, thinking in salaries and my short-term goals and whatever. But then I saw problems and I felt alone with those problems. I felt that politics doesn't solve anything, not that. Economy is always a little bit egoistic. They want to follow their goals. And what I want to show you is just do it. And when we get our first child, we had the problem of getting a kids care place and we just founded one.
Die Geschichte von Karl und Liesel. Wie fing es an und wie wurden wir die Einrichtung, die wir jetzt sind? Mit 54 Kindern im Alter von 1 bis 12 Jahren, 13 Mitarbeitern, engagierten Eltern und tollen Partnern. Alles fing an mit Lena und Günnisch und der Idee. Sie trafen sich das erste Mal in Lenas Küche. Wenige Wochen später fanden sie sich in Günnischs Wohnzimmer wieder, waren zu 7 und gründeten den Verein. Wie bei der Queen wurde ein Protokoll geführt und die Satzung vorgelesen. Einstimmig hoben alle die Hand. Doch wie sollten wir heißen? Nach wenigen Vorschlägen war der Name gefunden. Karl und Liesel war geboren. Danach ging es los. Wir wussten nicht, was wir taten. Doch mit unserer Idee gingen wir überall hin, wo man uns helfen konnte. Die Auflagen, die Begriffe, die Rahmenbedingungen, alles erschlug uns. Ein Dschungel, den wir unbedingt durchqueren wollten. Wir brauchten Manpower, also veranstalten wir Vorträge, wie in der Maria-Hilf-Kirche, um unsere Idee vorzustellen. Der Andrang war riesig. Wir standen vorne mit Umbauplänen, Zahlen und viel Mut. Wir brauchten auch Geld, 1.000 Euro von jedem, zur Zwischenfinanzierung des Umbaus. Das gefiel den Eltern zwar nicht, aber mit der Aussicht auf einen sicheren Betreuungsplatz konnten wir manche überzeugen. Wir fanden Personal. Wir fanden eine Immobilie. Der Umbau begann und ging voran. Unsere Krippe entstand. Mit viel Herz wurden Details geplant und liebevoll umgesetzt. Alle Eltern packten eifrig an, so konnten wir die Krippe an einem Wochenende einrichten. Unsere Kinder zogen mit den Betreuern ein. Sie aßen, spielten und hatten viel Freude. Unsere Kinder wurden größer und damit wuchs der Gedanke, einen Kindergarten zu eröffnen. Aus 1 wurde 2, mit mehr Eltern. Mehr Kindern und mehr Betreuern. Neu hinzu kam unsere Kochküche, in der unser Koch jeden Tag lecker und frisch kocht. Wir vergeben mindestens 3 Sterne. Ach ja, Fische haben wir in der Krippe auch. Und das Wichtigste, unseren Kindern gefällt's. Doch was kommt jetzt? Nach Krippe, Kindergarten und Hort, vielleicht eine Schule, eine Universität oder ein Altersheim? Egal was es wird, ohne unsere Partner hätten wir es nie geschafft. Deswegen sagen wir Danke an die Stadt München, an den KKT, an den Bezirksausschuss, an unseren Vermieter, an die Sparda Bank und der Bank für Sozialwirtschaft. Und natürlich an unsere engagierten Mitarbeiter und Eltern. Ohne all die Unterstützung gäbe es uns nicht. Daher Danke.
And as you see, it wasn't quite that. We didn't know what we do, we just followed one step behind the other. Another thing to show this multi-dimensional growth is Fruitiverse, the startup, my current startup, where we make the first fruit gummies made of 100% fresh organic fruits. No sugar added, no concentrates, no aromas, no colorings. And last week we were at Bayerfach in Nuremberg, and we had so much great resonance that I feel like in October we will be in the supermarkets. I have some samples here. You can pick one if you go out and see that it's possible. If people tell you it's not, it's possible. And if you feel like that you need good pictures because you should tell what you're doing, then I have the luck that my husband is the photographer and that he always helps me to spread the word in all the projects that I'm doing. So invest also in a good photographer. I know that we have here two great people too. So always make visible what you're doing, okay? Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. I think we all can go back home with all those 5 lessons and with a lot of inspiration on how we can actually invest in ourselves, in the things that we're passionate about. So I would like to say, first of all, thank you so much, Güneş, for this talk. I would like to open the floor for a few questions so that we can keep this discussion going. And then as we wrap up, we will, Güneş will stay here for a few more minutes. We can still have some coffee, and then you can also ask some more questions, even directly to her in private if you'd like to. So I'm going to pass the microphone around. There is a question here in the front.
Hi, Ganesh. Thank you very much for sharing your beautiful insights, and congratulations for your fantastic accomplishments. If you look in retrospective or all your endeavors, can you recognize when was like the critical point or event that really changed things, and you could realize that now it's working? Like when in the entrepreneur world, they say when you find your market fit, when it changed for an idea or a possibility to something real, concrete, to say it's working.
Yeah. The moment when I learned the most, the moment when I failed, I have to say. So when it works, then it works usually. And the only thing is, as a startup, you really need to be flexible in your mind. Usually you have a plan, and the business plan is just a status quo. Tomorrow, it could be that you change things inside because you have more information, more knowledge. And I think this is the big asset of startups, that if you're getting successful, then you were able to not just stick on your vision, but be able to understand what people gives you as recommendation, and you filter it successfully, because some recommendations are not that good and some are very good, and you have to filter it somehow. So sometimes people told me, oh, 2 weeks before you had another strategy, and I said yes, but now I have so much more information that I hadn't before. And for usually when you work in companies, then you feel you have 1 or 3 year plans, and then you feel like, oh, you're a startup and you don't know where you want to go. I know, but I'm very sensitive and listening to the market. One thing that I did was I invested 40,000 euros and I lost it on a startup where I felt it's about styling. It was about styling, a styling app with an algorithm. And the problem was that I was too fixed on my vision how it should be. So I invested a lot of money into the prototype that should be perfect. And then we saw that it's not working as we want. And this was a big, big learning for me. So what I always recommend to people is when they say, oh, I need a big website, and I say, perhaps you start out with a Facebook group and just see if there are people that are interested in your product before you invest in all the other stuffs. So starting low and always getting the feedback and analyzing and funneling it. Was it a little bit your answer you expected or not? If not, we can talk further later. Who wants more? Da hinten. Jetzt schrei ich. Because we just have one microphone.
Wonderful talk. Really, really inspiring. Plenty of ideas and also questions. But one that strikes me is where in Germany there's a lot of regulation, and things related with food, hygiene in the kindergarten might have a lot of setback or push from authorities or even organizations that try to control you for the good reasons. How do you plan for that? I mean, I didn't understand the whole thing with the kindergarten in German, but how do you plan, like you have this idea, like I would like to create maybe a community with the kindergarten, also a senior house as you mentioned at the end. How would I go about it without being stopped by authorities? again, I know that it is for the good reason, but how do I go about it?
Mm-hmm. The thing is, if you try to get to found a kindergarten, Germany wants that, so they support it. If you want to found a school, Germany doesn't want to, so they don't support you. So you have to be creative in your ways how to fund it. Because if you make a kindergarten, I always recommend to everybody who thinks about founding a kindergarten, just do it. You get half of your profit as a gift from the government every year. So it's better than every cafe or whatever, because you have half of your profit already in your pocket the moment you found it. But a book what I can recommend is Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki, because he again trains you to understand if you help the government to fulfill his goals, then you get a lot of support of consulting and money. The moment you do something creative or something that you feel you need that, the society needs it, but government doesn't see it, then you're a little bit alone. But what I say is, okay, then think in other ways, like that, as I said, do you trust your idea that much that you could get a loan of 250,000 euros? Do you trust your idea? Or investors, crowdfunding, crowd investing, you perhaps know Olympia 2020. They made a really big crowdfunding on over 2 million euros in Germany. Usually that's not working, but they made it work. So find people that support you in this idea. And what is also for me really important is this: find people that give you the money, perhaps major donors, for example, Regine Sixt, Susanne Klatten. The only thing that you have to understand, it's always a pitch. You have always touch their interests so that they feel, oh, that's cool, I will give you some money that you can start or scale or whatever. But if you want, we can talk about this in detail about your idea.
Thank you.
I can just scream. So
yeah, okay.
I think everybody has got like 24 hours a day.
Yes.
8 of which you probably have to sleep, some of which you have to eat. How on earth do you organize your life if you have 3 children and more projects than I have fingers on my hand? How do you do it? And let alone conserve some energy for yourself?
I have to say that first of all, you need, if you have a partner, you need a partner that supports you. So I'm very thankful for my husband that really supports me always. He never says, "Do you need to do that?" He always like, "Okay, if you think it's working, then it's working." You know, it's not like doubting. And this is the second thing: I don't doubt too much. So it's more like doubting. It takes a lot of energy from you. If you feel like, oh, should I or not, then you talk to people and they can't go with your vision. So they want the best for you, but they tell you, do you think it's working? Do you think 250,000? You should really take the loan. But I feel like you need an environment that really supports you, and you have to give up. So if I'm not at home, my husband do the stuff like he wants to do it. Although it's not my standard perhaps, but I have to go with it. And it's the same with team members. It's the same with employees. You have to be you have to be able to give things up from your standard and trust people. And the moment you do that, believe me, you will find and attract people that supports you. And the third thing is prioritizing. You have to prioritize what is really important for your projects. So is it important to make the most funny and nicest website? Or is it better you prepare your calculations for the bank? You know, it's like you have to calculate. And sometimes you don't like to do things, then get some partners that helps you doing that. This is, again, this expense investment thing. So analyze yourself, and then, oh, this is what I can do, and this is what I'm not able to do. Okay, then find someone who helps you there.
So I will need to stop the questions here because we are out of time and we still have 2 announcements to make. So if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to hang out a little bit longer and ask Gunesh directly.
My business cards are there, so you can contact me whenever you want to the project, just that you know.
And now, so I wanted to tell you all, you may have heard of this already, but we're going to raffle 2 tickets for Forward Festival that is happening at the mid-March, so in a couple of weeks. So those of you who participated, I have here the whole bowl with your emails, and I would ask Gunesh to actually give me a hand and raffle 2 tickets, so 2 people for 2 tickets, so 2 people who are going to attend Wework Festival for free. Let's do the first one. So, Alina Bikin, yay! Congratulations. And the second person, up. Julia Perl? Yes, so ladies, congratulations. So you will get information by email. We have your email, so you will get the ticket. So stay in touch, okay? And then for everyone else who unfortunately didn't win the ticket, if you use the code CreativeMornings, you actually get a 15% discount to attend the Wework Festival. So do use it in case you want to have a look at what is happening on the creative scene in Munich at this festival. And now the final thing. The next event is not going to happen on the last Friday in the month, but actually quite earlier, and namely on the Friday 13th. It's a very good date. And basically, the topic is going to be identity, and the whole talk is going to be part of the Munich Creative Business Week. We have been collaborating with Munich Creative Business Week for a while now. If you're interested in any other events and our event as well, there at the back at the reception, there are a few booklets from the Munich Creative Business Week. It's going to be an incredible event. We are really looking forward to seeing you guys there. So do save the date and stay tuned over our social networks and newsletters when we will be communicating more about the speaker and the content of the talk. Now, thank you again, Gunesh, for your inspiring talk. Thank you, everyone, for coming here, for staying with us until the end. If you still feel like it, have some more coffee, something to drink. But otherwise, I would be saying thanks to Wework for hosting us, and have a great Friday, and then an amazing weekend. See you, hopefully, in March. Thank you, guys.